things theology, all things theology. We chop it up properly, without an apology. Gotta give that theology to God, hallowed be, cause this is how we do it at All Things Theology.
Yo, grace and peace. Welcome back to an episode of All Things Theology, where this is your host, K-Dub, and today I want to ask a question and then do a little exploration together with us. This is a group assignment video today. Why is Mike Todd or Transformation Church deleting Robert Morris's videos? That is a question, and I think we know the answer. But before we get there, I just want to demonstrate the case. Let's look here. Someone brought this to my attention. Right, you type in Robert Morris's name and only one video pops up because they haven't actually deleted everything. Okay, and so it is why tithing is important. This is a short. Obviously, you can tell this was from a longer sermon. We go here to that video. Here's that short. We click on see the full sermon here. Just trying to show you guys. Video is unavailable, or the video is private now. Though they've either deleted this video, or they have made it private, right? But you can click on the series playlist here. One of my problems, it actually takes you to this. It says one available video is hidden. I think we know which one that is, right? Robert Morris has actually preached at Transformation Church a handful of times, and none of those sermons are available. You go check anywhere on the YouTube page, it is unavailable. Matter of fact, you go type in Robert Morris Transformation Church just on Google. Why tithing is important. That's what we just saw. Let's see. Matter of fact, this one takes there to the Instagram page, and you can tell they clearly preached a sermon there before, right? I mean, let's see how long ago this was. This was 210 weeks ago. And this is actually, is this the same message? No, I think it's a different message, unless he took his jacket off. I don't know. But I think it's the same sermon title, because it's a what test, and I think that's the name of the sermon on there. So clearly they're deleting messages. They don't want to have any association with Robert Morris. And here's why I want to know why. Because Robert Morris has clearly got his tithing doctrine. There's been two major influences from Mike Todd. One has been Miles Monroe. That's the first kind of influence on Mike Todd. The second is Robert Morris.
Let me give you one more illustration. Jason and Steve and Todd, will you guys stand up?
Hey, Charles, Will, Scott, come here real quick. Last analogy, we going home.
I'm going to give you an illustration. Let's say that I say to these three men, I'm going to go away for a while. And I've provided for Debbie, but I want to provide some additional funds for her. But I want to channel or funnel those funds through you three men. So I'm going to send each of you $10,000 a month, okay? Jason, don't get that excited. This is just an illustration. Okay.
Let's say I'm going on a trip, and I'm gonna be gone for an extended period of time. Y'all come right here. I'm gonna be gone for an extended period of time, and I want to provide for Natalie, my wife, and I'm taking care of her, but I want to provide some extra finances just in case she gets in a spot. And I'm gonna give each one of y'all $10,000 every. Hold on, it's just an example, okay? Just an example. Scott, calm down.
So, I'm talking to Debbie every day, and I say it to you, but I want you to give Debbie 10% of it, $1,000 a month, and you can keep the 90%. Just give my wife 10%. So I'm talking to Debbie every day and letting her know, it's an extended trip, but I'll be back in several months. I have to be gone. And after about 3 months, I think about these other funds, and I say, hey, how are the funds coming in from the three guys? And she said, well, Jason sends $1,000 a month. Just like you said, matter of fact, it arrives like January 1st, February 1st. I mean, he's like clockwork. It's $1,000. So good job. Okay.
I'm going to provide $10,000 extra for her through all of you. And all I want you to do is give her $1,000 each time I send you the $10,000. The other 9, you can keep. You can do whatever you want to do with it. But I just want to give you that money. Okay. And what if I talk to my wife every night. What's up, baby? How you doing? Oh, I miss you. Caking. Y'all remember caking? Okay, cool. So I'm talking to her and I'm like, hey, you remember those finances that I was gonna have Charles and Will and Scott give to you? How's it been going? And she's like, yeah, so Charles sends $1,000 every 1st and 15th, like clockwork. It's like $1,000, like it just keeps coming. I'm like, okay, that bet.
I said, well, what about Steve? She said, well, Steve is sending $2,000 a month. I said, $2,000 a month? I didn't ask him for $2,000 a month. I just asked him for $1,000 a month. I know. I said, well, why is he sending two? I don't know. He just sends $2,000 a month.
I said, what about Will? Will, for some reason, sends $2,000. I was like, what? I was like, I just told him to send 1,000. I know, but every 1st and 15th, he sends 2,000. And it's just been consistent all over.
I said, well, what about Trader? Todd, sorry. Todd. I said, what about Todd? She said, well, we need to talk about Todd. I said, well, why? What's Todd doing? Well, the first month he sent $700. The second month, $400. And this last month, he didn't send anything.
And I was like, okay, so what about the thief? I mean, what about Scott? And he said, well, let's talk about Scott for a second. She said the first time he sent $700. The second time he sent $5. And this last month, he didn't send anything. And I say, what? Scott didn't send nothing this last month? She said nothing. I said, but I gave him the $10,000.
Okay, now I want you to think about this. Think about this. How do you think that makes me feel? And I'm giving him the $10,000. It's coming from me. And I just asked him for 10% for my wife. He can keep the 90%. Okay, what do you think I'm going to do? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm not going to send him any more money because he's proven to me he can't be trusted. And I'm going to take what I'm giving him and I'm going to give it to Steve and Jason because they've proven they can be trusted.
Who would I stop sending resources to?
You're not a bad person if you don't tithe. You're not a bad person.
Watch this. Not because he's a bad person.
Yeah.
It's because he didn't do what I asked to be done with the resources.
Okay, listen to me very carefully. Tithing might be more personal to Jesus than what you thought.
Could it be said that tithing may be more personal to Jesus than we think?
He has the power. And if you say, well, I can't believe you just take it away and give it to the others. If you don't think Jesus would do that, read the parable of the talents. When he took from the one that wasn't faithful and gave it to the one who was faithful. He wants to provide for you. But why would he provide and bless people who will not even be concerned about his wife? It's a test, and it's very important we pass this test.
And if you don't believe that's real, go study the parable of the talents. Where God literally took from the one who did not do what he asked him to do, and he gave it to the ones who weren't. Now listen to me. This is an example of me trying to provide for my bride. But Jesus calls the church.
Let me just remind you, is the church the bride of Christ?
His bride.
And I've got to tell you, I was just going to read it to you and then tell you, but I've got to tell you so you can see it as we read the passage and not think about the old legalistic way that it's presented many times. When I say don't rob God, I don't mean by you keep your tithe and your tithe belongs to him and so you're robbing God of money. I actually don't think that's what this means. I personally don't think that God needs our money. Do you? I don't think he does. Here's what I think he's trying to say in Malachi 3, and this is what I'm saying in this message. And you could even put it after the 3 words, don't rob God, if you want. Don't rob God of an opportunity to bless you.
And a lot of churches, and I want to apologize, they really, really do a disservice to this because they misinterpret the heart of God on the tithe. And I'm going to expose where it gets misinterpreted, and I want to give Transformation Church, who is the key to the rise of a holy rebellion, I'm going to give us the actual right interpretation. Malachi 3, okay? We've heard this in almost every offering time ever. Will a man rob God? How do you rob God? In tithe and offering. So don't rob God. Give your tithe and your offering. That's not the spirit in which I believe God is speaking this scripture in. When I begin to think about the, let's just be really practical. Who gonna rob God? No, I just like, God's here, you're here. Practically, could anybody actually Lord, give it to me, like right now, I ain't playing with you. I withhold my worship. Like what? Like, it cannot be that, will a man rob God of money? What is the only way you can rob somebody who's in authority? You don't rob God of money. You rob God of the opportunity to bless you. How can a man rob God? Not doing things his way, and he cannot reward you the way he wants to reward you.
It takes faith to give the first 10%. It also states that we put God first. It's the principle of first that I preached to you many times. The firstborn represents this. The first fruits represent this. Jesus is God's firstborn, and he's God's first fruit. And so Jesus is God's tithe. He gave Jesus before we repented. He gave Jesus hoping that we would then come to him and let him bless us. So this is what the tithe is.
He wants you to see that you can never outgive him. Can I say something to you that you maybe never thought of? Jesus was God's tithe. He sent his only and his first son on a maybe so that he could get an entire family of people to believe. It doesn't take faith to sow something after you already know you got it.
And let me be very clear on what I'm saying, what I'm not saying. I'm not in any way suggesting Mike Todd is responsible for Robert Morris's illegal acts, his disgusting, vile behavior. But what I am suggesting and saying is that the theology of Robert Morris was enough to stay away from the false doctrine of tithing. And I'm not just talking about giving. I'm talking about the giving to get. The prosperity gospel was enough for Mike Todd to stay away. But unfortunately, the theology was not the problem, is not the problem for Mike Todd. It was only the actions. Of course, that is problematic, right? But I'm saying there was something long ago that should have caused you to stay away from Robert Morris. Just wanted to point this out. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Grace and peace. Oh, grace and peace. Thank you for watching another episode of All Things Theology. If you enjoyed what you heard today, go on and give me a like. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. I promise to give you weekly lives, videos, interactions, exposing false teachers, sharing with you, the viewer, my theological beliefs, things about the culture, and the Bible. So if you're here for that, come on and join us. Also, if you would like to support this channel financially, you can do so by becoming a Patreon member or a YouTube member. Links are in the description below. You can see content before it drops. You can also have Q&A sessions with also other Patreon members, YouTube members as well. So if you would like that, hit the description link in below.